In 1975, the landscape of organized crime was undergoing significant changes, nearly 12 years after the assassination of John F. Kennedy. The Kennedy administration had initiated a vigorous campaign against organized crime, aiming to dismantle its deep-seated influence, which pervaded the CIA, FBI, IRS, and other U.S. government agencies. However, Kennedy's assassination halted these efforts abruptly. The resurgence of hope appeared briefly in 1968, when Robert F. Kennedy seemed poised to return to the White House. But his assassination, occurring just 1 month after Martin Luther King Jr., left organized crime's power largely unchallenged. These events fueled public distrust and spurred demands for a closer examination of both the Kennedy assassination and the CIA's covert operations during the early 1960s, particularly those aimed at eliminating Fidel Castro. This period marked a pivotal moment for the Chicago outfit. The outfit was grappling with unwanted attention due to Sam Giancana's involvement in hearings about Kennedy's assassination. Giancana, a notorious mobster, was known for collaborating with the CIA alongside mob figures like Johnny Roselli and, through intermediaries like Robert Maheu, to orchestrate attempts against Castro. Giancana's connections extended across various government agencies and organized crime families, including the Trafficante family, which also had ties to CIA operations. Despite the precarious position Giancana found himself in, he continued to amass wealth through illicit activities in Mexico, involving narcotics trafficking and gambling. He leveraged his relationships within the Teamsters and was helped by Jimmy Hoffa when he finally got out of prison, and his organized crime ties with Carlos Marcello. Upon his return to the United States, the leadership of the Chicago outfit demanded proof of his loyalty, which could have spared him and allowed him to testify at the HSCA hearing. However, Giancana defied the Chicago outfit's leadership. In response, they deemed him a liability and dispatched Dominic "Butch" Blasi, a trusted associate of Tony Accardo placed within Giancana's inner circle, to handle the situation. Despite their close relationship, Blasi's loyalty was ultimately to Accardo. The confrontation ended tragically when Blasi fatally shot Giancana. Butch was the last person known to have seen Sam Giancana alive. However, since Giancana's murder remains unsolved, the allegations against Butch are just that: unsubstantiated claims. Staging the scene to implicate the Trafficante crime family, in a bid to mislead authorities about their involvement in anti-Castro plots. The fallout from these events was profound, shaking the foundations of organized crime and signaling the beginning of the end for many of its then leaders. This assassination and its intricate backstory made headlines, igniting a series of investigations and revelations that would expose the tangled web of Mafia connections and government complicity. In subsequent articles, I will delve deeper into the history of the Chicago outfit, exploring the reign of Tony Accardo after I finished the series on New York with Carlo Gambino, the final King of New York. This historical narrative aims to shed light on the complex interplay of power, loyalty, and betrayal that has shaped the American criminal underworld. I hope you found this article enlightening and look forward to sharing more about Chicago's infamous organized crime legacy. Police watching the Oak Park home of Mafia. Chief Sam "Momo" Giancana, on the night he was killed, stated that Giancana was assassinated by his own crime syndicate to prevent him from talking. The killer, who shot Giancana gangland style, once in the mouth, 5 times in the neck, and once in the back of the head, may have passed directly under the gaze of lawmen. Agents of the Federal Bureau of Investigation and the Chicago Police Intelligence Division were keeping the house under surveillance. The investigators staked out at Giancana's home Thursday night, making notes of car license plates, and visitors at a welcome home party for the mob chieftain. He was therefore being careful to maintain a low profile. Nevertheless, Chicago police and the FBI had been informed by Houston police that Giancana would return here Thursday from a Houston hospital where he had undergone gallbladder surgery. Expecting the welcome home party. Thursday, police observed Giancana's relatives, syndicate cronies, and possibly the killer come and go throughout the evening. Police believe Giancana's fellow syndicate bosses feared he would break under pressure before the grand jury and spill mob secrets that could lead to other gang leaders being indicted or spark a congressional investigation. Giancana had made 4 appearances before the jury and was scheduled to appear once more. The 67-year-old widower was found shot to death in a basement kitchen of his fortress-like Oak Park home at 1147 Winona Avenue. Police view the method as a traditional underworld warning to others who might be inclined to talk too much. Because his home was well protected and any outsider would have to deal with Giancana's associates, police believe the killer was someone he trusted and admitted into the house. Among guests at the welcoming party were Charles Chucky English, jukebox racketeer and gambling kingpin, and Giancana's longtime bodyguard and general flunky Dominic Butch Blasi. Also present, according to police, were 2 of Giancana's 3 daughters and his sons-in-law. One son-in-law, Jerome De Palma, accompanied the mobster home from Houston, and De Palma's American Express credit card was used to pay Giancana's hospital bill. A spokesman for the state attorney's office said all of the party guests will be called before a county grand jury investigating the slaying. Federal authorities speculated that the assassin might have been among the group that attended the party and possibly was the last to leave. They suggested that if the slaying was a crime syndicate execution, it could not have been carried out without going through Anthony Big Tuna Accardo, the mob's elder statesman. Giancana reportedly met, just 2 weeks ago, with Accardo and Joseph Doves Ayupa, a semi-retired Cicero rackets boss, to find out whether he was still in good standing with the mob. Police at the scene found that the aging crime chief had been hit by 6.22 caliber bullets, leading them to theorize that the hitman had secreted the small caliber pistol on his person, possibly tucked into his belt under a sports shirt, so as not to arouse Giancana's suspicion. Giancana was under extreme pressure, a police official said. He was probably paranoid and was being extremely careful whom he associated with. Oak Park Police Chief Wilbur Reichert said authorities are also looking into the similarity of the Giancana slaying to the shooting of Anthony Battaglia, 61, brother of the late Sam Teets Battaglia, who succeeded Giancana as boss of the Chicago mob. Idaho, Senator Frank Church, chairman of the committee investigating the Central Intelligence Agency, said Friday the committee will consider protecting its witnesses after the shooting death of Chicago crime syndicate chieftain Sam Giancana. But the Idaho Democrat, here for an inland waterway dedication, said he would give no credence to any suggestion that the CIA was in any way connected with the Thursday night slaying of Giancana. Giancana, 65, was linked recently to alleged CIA plots to kill Cuban Premier Fidel Castro and was scheduled to appear before the committee next week. Church said Giancana was to testify before a grand jury in Chicago probing organized crime and may have been shot to prevent him from giving testimony to that grand jury. "We have other witnesses who keep the same company as Giancana," Church said, explaining why protection might be needed. In Washington, a source close to the congressional investigations of the CIA said that at least one of the committees will almost certainly look into the murder of Giancana. Giancana's death raised eyebrows among congressional investigators. "Who killed Giancana and why were among the first questions that came to my mind," said a congressional prober. "Unless there is proof or good reason to believe that it was strictly a mob affair, you can bet those questions will be asked in the investigation of the CIA." The source added that either the Senate or the House Intelligence Committees will investigate the killing. Senator John Tower, Republican of Texas, vice chairman of the Senate Select Committee on Intelligence, told reporters Friday, "We have noted with intent that he, Giancana, was done away with. He had been contacted by some of our staff. The committee had not taken the decision to call on him as a witness. A spokesman added that the committee staff did not consider Giancana the most valuable witness in the investigation into the Mafia CIA link in the Castro murder plot. Instead, the committee is counting on the testimony of John Roselli, another alleged underworld figure, to talk about the reported plots against Castro. Nevertheless, according to Richard Bissell, former CIA official in charge of such operations, Giancana was to be the perfect hitman against Castro. The following information is derived from a crime report composed in 1988 that examines the condition of the Mafia at that time. In the shadowy underworld of organized crime, the Cosa Nostra, LCN, or the Mafia, has long been an enigmatic force, its influence stretching across decades. Today, we delve into the riveting saga of the LCN's resilience, exploring its unchanged corporate structure and the unwavering hierarchy that has weathered the storm of legal scrutiny. As we navigate through the labyrinthine charts and structures, we discover that the faces at the helm remain remarkably familiar, echoing the echoes of a bygone era. Embarking on a journey through the notorious families, Bonanno, Buffalo, Chicago, and beyond, we witness the intriguing metamorphosis of key figures over the years, from soldiers to bosses, consiglieres to capos. Each position unveils a tale of power, betrayal, and a complex web of criminal endeavors. Yet, as we immerse ourselves in the narratives of Philip Rastelli's ascent to the throne, or Joseph Ferriola's grip on the Chicago outfit, we also encounter a new breed of soldiers. Greedier, younger, and more aggressive, these members usher in an era of transformation within the LCN, presenting both a challenge and an opportunity for law enforcement. The charts provided, a visual testament to the organization's enduring structure, paint a vivid picture of the criminal landscape that Joseph Valachi first exposed in 1963. However, the question remains, can recent successes in prosecution truly eliminate the LCN as a criminal threat? As we explore the field reports from Chicago to Los Angeles, we confront a stark reality, a criminal enterprise adapting to the shifting tides of justice. Join us as we unravel the intricacies of this criminal tapestry, a tale marked by violence, power struggles, and the indomitable spirit of an organization that refuses to fade into the shadows. Welcome to the captivating world of La Cosa Nostra, where the past and present collide in a dance of secrecy, betrayal, and the relentless pursuit of justice. In delving into the labyrinthine world of the La Cosa Nostra LCN, one cannot help but marvel at the enduring constancy of its corporate structure, an unwavering framework that has withstood the test of time, unchanged before, during, and after the infamous Valachi hearings. Picture this organized chaos. At the summit of each LCN family stands a boss, an undisputed head orchestrating the family's clandestine affairs. Right beside, a trusted underboss maneuvers in the shadows as the second in command, while a sage consigliere, a seasoned veteran, offers counsel to the boss in the intricate dance of power. But the real intrigue lies in the capos, the captains leading cohorts of soldiers and buttonmen, the foot soldiers of the LCN. In Chicago, however, a distinctive term surfaces, lieutenant synonymous with capo, reflecting the unique nuances within the city's intricate underworld. Beyond the hierarchy, there's a layer of associates, non-members integral to the LCN's illicit activities, casting a wider web of influence and power. Now, to illustrate the remarkable consistency, let's journey back to 1963 with Joseph Valachi's revelations, comparing the charts crafted then with the contemporary hierarchy unveiled in this hearing. In the Bonanno family, the once characterized soldier, Philip Rastelli, now reigns as the boss, an astonishing metamorphosis from his past designation. Similarly, in the Buffalo family, Pasquale Natarelli, once a capo overseeing gambling interests, maintains his position today, a living relic from the pages of Valachi's charts. Venturing into the Chicago family, the narrative takes a riveting turn. Joseph Ferriola, once a soldier supervising gambling and extortion, ascends to the pinnacle of power in 1987, seizing control in the wake of convictions that shook the foundation of the family. Meanwhile, Anthony Accardo, a lieutenant in Valachi's charts, transitioned from being Al Capone's bodyguard to the boss until voluntarily ceding control to a more aggressive figure. As we navigate through the annals of the LCN's history, the tale unfolds, entangled, intriguing, and remarkably unaltered. The names change, the power dynamics shift. But the essence of this clandestine world remains an indomitable force, weaving a narrative that transcends time and captivates the imagination. Yet the saga of Anthony Accardo's influence in the Chicago family takes another compelling turn. Following a period of relative quiet, Accardo staged a comeback in 1965, reclaiming leadership after the incarceration and exile of Sam Giancana. The resurgence, however, was short-lived. The landscape shifted dramatically in January 1986, when the conviction of 4 high-profile Chicago mobsters, found guilty of orchestrating the tax-free skimming of cash from Las Vegas casinos, compelled Accardo to emerge from retirement. Tasked with overseeing the turbulent affairs of the Chicago family, Accardo found himself once again at the forefront, this time grappling with the aftermath of legal repercussions that shook the very foundations of the organization. His return to the helm was not as boss, but as a guiding force, a consigliere, in the intricate web of power dynamics within the Chicago family. As we pivot to the Colombo family, a glimpse into the Genovese chart from 1963, courtesy of Valachi's hearings, reveals the intriguing journey of Carmine John Persico, Jr. Initially characterized as an LCN soldier, Persico's evolution is a testament to the fluidity of power within the organized crime realm. The echoes of his presence in 1963 resonate as he navigates the labyrinth of family dynamics, leaving an indelible mark on the Colombo family's narrative. The intricate dance between Carmine John Persico, Jr. and his affiliations with the Colombo LCN family unfolds as a testament to the fluidity and complexity within organized crime circles. While initially characterized as a Genovese LCN soldier by Joseph Valachi in 1963, Persico's subsequent activities and associations firmly establish his ties to the Colombo LCN family. A pivotal moment in this narrative is illuminated by the revelations from the 1983 Senate hearings. These hearings shed light on Persico's ascent within the Colombo family, marking him as the boss in 1978. However, his journey to the pinnacle of power was not a direct path. The Colombo family found itself in tumultuous waters after the shooting of then-boss Joseph Colombo in 1971 during an Italian-American Day rally in New York. In the ensuing vacuum of leadership, Carmine Persico assumed the role of interim head, steering the destiny of the Colombo LCN family through a period of uncertainty. His eventual confirmation as the official boss in 1978 solidified his influence and marked a significant chapter in the family's history. The intricacies of power shifts, coupled with historical events, weave a compelling narrative that underscores the adaptability and resilience inherent in the world of organized crime. The shadowy ascent of Carmine John Persico, Jr. to the pinnacle of the Colombo family is shrouded in chilling tales of violence and power plays as police intelligence officials assert his involvement in at least a dozen murders. On that ominous June 25th in 1985, the web of criminality tightened around him when Persico faced charges of extortion and murder in the commission case. This investigation, a labyrinthine pursuit of justice, led to the unprecedented indictment of the bosses of the 5 New York families under the formidable RICO statute. Convicted and handed a draconian sentence of 100 years with no chance of parole, Persico now resides within the impenetrable confines of the United States Penitentiary in Marion, Illinois. Behind those prison walls, a once invincible figurehead, grapples with the consequences of a life steeped in crime and power. In the labyrinth of the Colombo family's history, echoes of its past resonate. Once known as the Magliocco family during the Valachi era, it underwent transformations that mirror the chameleonic nature of organized crime. John Francese, a name etched in the annals of Colombo LCN lore, emerges as a central figure. Initially identified by Valachi as a capo, Francese's trajectory took a seismic turn, evolving into the underboss of the Colombo family by 1983. However, Francese's notoriety extends far beyond his official titles. A multifaceted figure in the criminal underworld, his rap sheet reads like a dark novel: pornography, gambling, prostitution, murder, labor racketeering, bank robbery, and loan sharking. March of 1967 marked a turning point with his conviction for conspiracy to commit bank robbery, leading to consecutive sentences of 25 years each. Despite a brief taste of freedom in 1978 through parole, fate had other plans for Francese. Parole revocations in 1982 and again in 1986 plunged him back into the abyss of incarceration. Presently serving an 8-year sentence for the 1986 parole violation, Francese's story epitomizes the cyclical nature of crime and punishment within the intricate folds of La Cosa Nostra. The tale unfolds within the stark confines of a federal correctional institute in Petersburg, Virginia, where the echoes of Francese's criminal saga resonate against the cold, unforgiving walls. Diving into the enigmatic realm of the Gambino family, the tale of Joseph Armone unveils a narrative both steeped in crime and marked by unexpected ascensions. In the cryptic language of the Valachi charts, Armone's initial designation was that of a soldier, a mere button man. Fast forward to the present, and he now holds the formidable position of underboss within the Gambino LCN family. Armone's trajectory took a defining turn in 1986, when, in a macabre twist of fate, he assumed the role of underboss. This unexpected promotion followed the tragic demise of John Gotti's original choice, Frank DeCicco, who fell victim to a car bombing on April 13, 1986. The intricate dance of power within the Gambino family played out against the backdrop of violence and strategic maneuvering. The tapestry of Armone's past is woven with threads of notoriety. In 1965, he found himself entangled in the infamous French Connection case, facing a conviction and a 15-year sentence for the importation of heroin. Decades later, in June 1986, Armone faced fresh legal turmoil with an indictment in the Eastern District of New York for RICO violations. December of 1987 marked a pivotal chapter in Armone's criminal saga. Convicted of racketeering conspiracy involving extortion, bribery, and illicit interstate travel to commit bribery, he found himself immediately remanded to the stark confines of the Metropolitan Correctional Center in New York. The judge, in delivering the sentence, painted Armone as a high-ranking career criminal, one who embarked on his illegal pursuits at an early age and showed no discernible signs of a willingness to alter his path. In the intricate dance between crime and consequence, Joseph Armone's story unfolds as a testament to the relentless grip of a life entrenched in the folds of organized crime, leaving us to ponder whether redemption is a distant echo in the corridors of his past. In a courtroom drama that echoed with the weight of consequences, Judge Weinstein handed down a sentence of 15 years in custody for Joseph Armone, a prominent figure in the Gambino family. The charges included RICO conspiracy, 2 counts of Hobbs Act extortion, bribery, and a 5-year term for ITAR. The sentences were to run concurrently, accompanied by a staggering fine of $820,000, underscoring the gravity of his offenses. Turning our gaze to the upper echelons of the Gambino family in 1987, the apex of the hierarchy bore the name John Gotti, a figure whose notoriety echoed through the criminal underworld. Intriguingly, Gotti was absent from the charts in 1963, deemed too young to be included at the time, with an age of around 22. Now, transitioning to the Genovese family, Vincent Louis Gigante emerges as a central figure. Characterized as a soldier in 1963, he now stands as the boss of the Genovese LCN family. The intricate tapestry of Gigante's rise unfolds. In 1983, he was identified as a capo in the Genovese La Cosa Nostra, gradually assuming overall control in the early to mid-80s. Following Anthony Salerno's conviction in 1986, Gigante elevated from an acting boss to a formidable leader, steering the family through a maze of illegal activities, from loan sharking to narcotics and labor racketeering. As the Senate inquiry probes deeper, a common thread emerges. Neither Gigante nor Gotti has faced conviction, underscoring the elusive nature of justice in the world of organized crime. Shifting our focus to the Lucchesi family, Joseph di Palermo, once a Valachi-listed soldier, now holds the position of capo. His journey from incarceration for a narcotics violation, alongside fellow inmate Vito Genovese, to his release in 1983, adds another layer to the intricate narrative of the LCN. In the sun-drenched landscape of Tampa, Florida, the Trafficante family unfolds its own saga. In 1963, Francesco Diesidue, characterized by Valachi as a soldier, sets the stage for the criminal theatrics that would unfold in the years to come. The threads of organized crime weave a tale of intrigue, power, and the perpetual dance between law and lawlessness. In the sun-soaked realm of Tampa, Florida, the aged yet still active Francesco Diesidue held the reins as the underboss of the Trafficante family, until the natural demise of Trafficante in March 1987. A seasoned figure, Diesidue's criminal journey took a noteworthy turn when, on November 16, 1976, he found himself convicted under the RICO statute, with murder and conspiracy as the predicate acts. Despite a formidable 20-year sentence, fortune favored him in 1979 when the decision was reversed, leading to his release. Presently, he resides in Tampa, Florida, a living testament to the enduring resilience of organized crime figures. The narrative takes a riveting twist with the mention of the Tucson family, an intriguing anomaly in the underworld hierarchy. The Philadelphia family, showcased in the Valachi Bonanno chart, left an indelible mark on the criminal landscape. Dating back to the tumultuous gang war in Philadelphia from 1926 to 1928, the family faced challenges, including legal scrutiny. In a seismic shift, Joseph Ida fled to Italy in 1957, pressured by law enforcement after the infamous Appalachian meeting. This set the stage for the entrance of Antonio Polina, alias Mr. Mig, who succeeded Ida. However, the family's tranquility was disrupted when Polina, feeling threatened by the ambitious Capo Angelo Bruno, sought the aid of Ignazio Denaro to eliminate Bruno. Yet Denaro's loyalty to Bruno prevailed, leading to a twist of fate where Bruno assumed leadership without resorting to violence, a characteristic move that earned him the moniker the Docile Don. Under Bruno's strategic leadership, the Philadelphia LCN family transformed into a paragon of clandestine prosperity. Bruno's investments ranged from real estate to Caribbean casinos and a plethora of legitimate enterprises, creating a facade of legitimacy for the family. This era marked the closure of membership books, with Bruno relying on non-member associates to bolster operations. Bruno's 22-year reign was marked by stability and prosperity, with a mere change of the guard as Ignazio Denaro was succeeded by Philip Testa and Giuseppe Rugnetta by Antonio Rocco Caponigro. However, Caponigro's appointment would prove fatal for Angelo Bruno. In 1978, internal strife and the spectre of internal warfare within the Bruno family surfaced, portending a turbulent chapter in the annals of organized crime. The winds of discontent within the Philadelphia LCN family, particularly the Calabrian faction, led by Antonio Rocco Caponigro, intensified against the backdrop of Angelo Bruno's leadership. Their grievances coalesced into three main concerns: a desire to expand the family's size, a push to open the books, and concerns about encroachment on Bruno's territory by other LCN families, notably the Gambinos. Additionally, internal factions sought to diversify criminal enterprises, including venturing into drug trafficking. In a bid to pacify tensions, Bruno took a conciliatory approach. He appointed Caponigro as consigliere, replacing the deceased Giuseppe Rugnetta. However, this seemingly diplomatic move backfired, as Caponigro's elevation empowered him to approach the commission directly with a request to eliminate Angelo Bruno. Although there are suspicions of a setup orchestrated by one of the New York bosses, Caponigro believed he had the green light to kill Bruno. Tragically, on March 21, 1980, Angelo Bruno fell victim to a shotgun attack while sitting in his car. Retribution for the unauthorized murder was swift. Caponigro, his brother-in-law Alfred Salerno, Capo John Simone, member Frank Sindone, and the driver of the car, John Stanfa, were summoned to New York. In a brutal response, all were murdered except Stanfa. Philip Testa succeeded Bruno as underboss, but his tenure was short-lived as he opened the books and initiated new members, including his son, Salvatore, and Nicodemo Scarfo's nephew, Philip Leonetti. The unrest persisted, leading to Testa's assassination in a bomb attack on March 18, 1981. In the aftermath, the commission approved Nicodemo Scarfo as the new boss, setting in motion a radical transformation of the family. Under Scarfo's leadership, new members, some still in their 20s, were rapidly initiated, and the family dynamic shifted. Scarfo, contrasting himself with Bruno, declared, "Bruno was a racketeer. I am a gangster." Scores of young members, including Sal Testa and Philip Leonetti, rose to prominence despite limited experience. Scarfo's leadership was marred by violence, with Sal Testa also meeting a violent end. The winds of change continued in 1987, when Scarfo faced legal repercussions, convicted for attempting to extort $1 million with the assistance of Philadelphia councilman Leland Beloff. The Philadelphia family, as depicted on the chart, stands as a testament to the turbulent and ever-evolving nature of organized crime, under Scarfo's formidable, albeit controversial, leadership. In the aftermath of his convictions, Scarfo currently serves a 15-year sentence and faces further legal scrutiny. His trial for the murder of Salvatore Testa is underway, and later this year, he, along with the entire family hierarchy, will be tried under the RICO statute for predicate offenses of murder and extortion. Former capo Thomas Del Giorno and former soldier Nicholas Caramandi are expected to testify for the government at that trial. Thank you, sir. Senator Nunn. Thank you, Mr. Daniels. Do you want to go through any more of these charts right now? Mr. Daniels. No, sir. Senator Nunn. Mr. Daniels, if I could ask you one follow-up question before you complete your testimony. We have heard the LCN is changing, that we have a new breed of soldier, greedier, higher profile, more undisciplined, more prone to violence. Do you agree with that? And do you believe we have a standard operating procedure that is consistent with the past? Or do you think we are entering into a new period? Mr. Daniels. I think the new breed of soldiers, Senator, is younger and more aggressive than in the past. However, because of their youth, they do not really have the old established lines of communication within the family or with other LCN families, as the older, more experienced breed had. This inexperience makes the new breed more visible and, therefore, more vulnerable to prosecution. We have seen, however, more involvement by the new and younger breed. They are more willing to become involved in drug trafficking. Obviously, through death, incarceration, or retirement of the older members, we have to consider this new breed as a major factor in the future. Senator Nunn, thank you. We will go to questions for all of our panel now. Judge Sessions, I notice on page 6 of your statement you state, the resulting intelligence not only identified the probable co-conspirators responsible for the Hoffa disappearance, but identified LCN influence and domination of some major international labor unions and numerous locals throughout the country. On the question of the Hoffa disappearance, has the FBI established the reason for it? And have you established the conspirator or conspirators in that? Judge Sessions: Senator, I am informed that there are a number of possible identifications of people involved in that, and the reasons generally for it being, as I understand it, that there was an expression shortly before his death that he intended to purge the organized crime families from the union activities in the Teamsters. But that is the information I have, sir. Senator Nunn: Are we likely to get indictments in that area at some point? Judge Sessions: I would not be prepared to comment on that. I will investigate that and do it for the record for you, sir. Mr. Revel: The individuals that we believe are responsible are, I believe, already incarcerated, but for other charges. It is doubtful at this point that we will ever have sufficient evidence to bring them to trial. But as I said, they have been convicted on other crimes. Senator Nunn: In other words, you believe you have information that gives you sound reason to conclude that you have identified the perpetrators, but not sufficient information to bring indictments and criminal prosecution. Mr. Revel: That is correct. Senator Nunn: Judge, in your statement you mentioned that you believe that by building on recent successes, the LCN can be eliminated as a criminal threat to the marketplace. Let me just go through some of these field reports because you are talking about future tense, and some of these are talking about present tense. Judge Sessions: Yes, sir. Senator Nunn: I think that we ought to make it very clear as to where we are now in contrast to where you hope we will go. These are the FBI field summaries which have been submitted for the record this morning. In Chicago, Illinois, there have been many successful prosecutions involving LCN members. Prosecutions like those brought in Kansas City, New York, and Chicago have caused the imprisonment of high-level LCN members. These investigations had a tremendous impact on the hierarchy of the Chicago LCN, but had little effect on LCN-related criminal activity. This was due to the fact that the LCN was left with its assets and its structure intact. Therefore, other LCN members were simply promoted to replace those who have been incarcerated. The Field Office from Detroit, Michigan. Criminal prosecutions of the LCN in Detroit during the past 10 years have had little impact on their overall activity. Kansas City, Missouri. During the past 10 years, the impact of criminal prosecution on the activities of the LCN in Kansas City has remained relatively unchanged. Although significant statistical accomplishments and high-impact achievements have occurred resulting in these convictions in Kansas City of LCN bosses and members, it is the opinion of Kansas City the beat goes on. Replacement personnel have filled the vacuum left by conviction, and the criminal enterprise continues. Los Angeles, California. These prosecutions have caused a decrease in the overall criminal activity of the Los Angeles LCN. Mr. Tommaso Buscetta, a former member of the Porto Nuova Sicilian Mafia family, testifies before the subcommittee. Born in Palermo, Sicily in 1928, he paints a vivid picture of the Mafia's evolution from protectors of the weak to an organization tainted by money, drugs, and greed. In his compelling narrative, Buscetta shares his journey, emphasizing the drastic changes within the Cosa Nostra during his nearly 40 years of association. He provides insight into the initiation process, the sacred oath, and the transformation from an honorable society to one focused solely on personal gain. Buscetta, having fought in World War II for the Italian underground, describes his induction into the Mafia in 1948 as an honor. However, he highlights the disturbing requirement for every man of honor to become an assassin before formal acceptance. This revelation adds a layer of intensity to the narrative. The secrecy and meticulous screening process of potential members add intrigue to the testimony, emphasizing the gravity of the Mafia's influence. The chilling account of the initiation ritual, involving a sacred image and a blood oath, enhances the mysterious and ritualistic aspects of the Cosa Nostra. As Buscetta exposes the erosion of the Cosa Nostra's principles, he delves into his own experiences and losses, revealing the personal toll the Mafia has taken on his family. The climax comes as he breaks the code of silence, omerta, declaring his decision to testify against the Mafia in both Italy and the United States. This gripping testimony unfolds as a first-hand account of a man who witnessed the transformation of an organization he once revered into a corrupt entity. Buscecca's revelation of the inner workings and the personal sacrifice required to be a man of honor captivates the audience, shedding light on the dark realities of the Sicilian Mafia. In the clandestine realm of La Cosa Nostra, a code of honor, unwritten yet binding, governs the lives of its members, known as men of honor. Membership in this secret society is not easily revoked, even in the face of legal entanglements. Arrests may momentarily disrupt their external activities, but the status of a man of honor endures, whether within the prison walls or on the streets. The events in a member's life may alter their active involvement, yet the call to duty remains, a summons that cannot be refused. This mysterious code of conduct extends even into the confines of a prison cell, where authority and prestige persist. The status of a man of honor is not easily forfeited. Only justified motives can prompt temporary or permanent removal, a decision reserved for the discernment of the family boss or the commission. In the sacred circle of Cosa Nostra, truth is sacrosanct. Whatever a man of honor utters in the presence of two or more peers must be the unadulterated truth. This rule, while extending to conversations between two members, takes on a nuanced challenge, as the absence of a third witness transforms it into a clash of one man's word against another's. Though no written codes of Mafia ethics exist, these rules are rigid, universal, and known to every member. The ties that bind the men of honor are unspoken yet unbreakable, creating a solidarity more impenetrable than any written pact. The narrative shifts to the early 50s when Lucky Luciano, not considered a man of honor in Sicily's Cosa Nostra, was deported from the United States to Italy. Despite this, Luciano, the boss of a Mafia family in New York, received respect from Sicilian counterparts. In this era, Luciano and Salvatore Buscetta, the narrator, developed a friendship, with Luciano disclosing the genesis and purpose behind the formation of the Commission in America. According to Luciano, the Commission's establishment in the United States occurred in the aftermath of a war waged against Maranzano in the 30s. It aimed to prevent the unjust killing of men of honor and adjudicate disputes between families. The Commission held the authority to decide on executions, selecting both the condemned and the executioners from any family. The orchestration of a murder remained the Commission's exclusive purview, shrouded in secrecy, shared only with the chosen executioners. As the narrative unfolds, Salvatore Buscetta, a former member of the Sicilian Mafia, provides a rare glimpse into the inner workings of La Cosa Nostra. Exploring the intricacies of the Mafia's unwritten code of honor, Buscetta details the unique status of a man of honor, whose membership persists through arrests and imprisonment, ensuring a lifetime commitment to the family. In the shadows of this clandestine world, the Commission emerges as a powerful entity, wielding authority over family disputes and, chillingly, the execution of men of honor. Buscetta recounts how the Commission's decisions are shrouded in secrecy, revealed only to the chosen executioners, emphasizing the covert nature of their operations. The narrative then shifts to the 1950s, a pivotal time when Lucky Luciano, despite being deemed not a man of honor in Sicily, shared insights with Buscetta during his deportation to Italy. Luciano revealed the formation of the American Commission and the prevailing methods of wealth accumulation within the Mafia, notably through protection and extortion. In a meeting with Joseph Bonanno in 1957, Buscetta learned about the potential for a Sicilian commission, envisioning a bridge between the American and Sicilian Mafia. Motivated by Luciano and Bonanno's ideas, Buscetta played a role in persuading Sicilian family bosses to establish a commission in Palermo. However, the Sicilian commission differed as it comprised soldiers, not bosses, leading to internal upheaval. By the early 60s, turmoil ensued, marked by killings and a car bombing targeting a commission member, resulting in public outrage and arrest warrants. The escalating police crackdown prompted a mass exodus of Mafia members from Sicily, seeking refuge in the United States, South America, and Canada. Buscetta himself fled to Mexico, Canada, and ultimately New York, adopting an alias. A fascinating turn in the narrative reveals a surprising encounter with Carlo Gambino, the head of the American Commission. Expecting imminent danger, Buscetta attended a reception organized by Gambino, where he was, to his surprise, honored rather than harmed. This encounter marked the beginning of Buscetta's collaboration with the Gambino family, securing employment and forming connections. The narrative closes with a pivotal moment in 1965, as Carmine Galante informs Buscetta of Joe Bonanno's desire to meet him. This encounter hints at the complex dynamics between Mafia families, showcasing the intricate, wordless communication that characterizes Cosa Nostra. In this riveting testimony, Buscetta's revelations offer a rare glimpse into the inner sanctum of La Cosa Nostra, where secrecy, honor, and power intertwine in a shadowy dance of survival and influence. In the aftermath of my departure from the United States in 1971, Colombo, a prominent figure in the American Mafia, was shot and fatally wounded a mere 5 days to a week later. My own journey took me to Brazil, where I sought refuge until my return to Palermo in 1972, compelled by the obligation to serve a prison term. However, upon my release, I witnessed a transformed Sicilian Mafia, buoyed by the resurgence of the Commission, albeit now overshadowed by the influence of the Corleones. The narcotics trade had infiltrated the once resolute boundaries of Cosa Nostra, rendering a stark departure from the long-standing aversion to drug-related activities. In the shifting landscape of the Mafia, drug dealings replaced the traditional tobacco smuggling trade, bringing with it an influx of wealth, heightened greed, escalating violence, and a diminishing sense of honor. Between 1981 and 1983, Palermo experienced an onslaught of over 400 Mafia-related killings, a testament to the erosion of familial loyalties and the erosion of the once venerated codes of respect. Recognizing the irrevocable changes wrought by the drug trade, I grew disillusioned with the Corleones and their methods. This realization prompted my decision to leave Palermo and seek refuge in Brazil in January 1981. However, my departure did not shield my Sicilian family from the ruthless vengeance of the Corleones. False rumors circulated by Gaetano Badalamenti, ousted head of the Canisi family, painted me as a threat to the Corleones, triggering a brutal campaign against my family back in Sicily. Tragically, my brother, 2 sons, 3 nephews and son-in-law, all innocent bystanders, fell victim to the Corleones' relentless violence. Arrested in Brazil in October 1983 and subsequently extradited to Italy in July 1984 on charges of Mafia association, I found myself at a crossroads, confronted with the grim reality that the honorable Mafia of the past no longer existed. I made a pivotal decision to cooperate with Italian and American authorities. My motivation stemmed from a belief that revealing the true nature of the Cosa Nostra was essential. The once revered men of honor had been replaced by men driven solely by violence and avarice. In reflecting on the only viable strategy to combat Cosa Nostra, I am convinced that public education holds the key. By illuminating the true nature, power, and inherent danger of these individuals, society can empower law enforcement to wage an effective battle against organized crime. The romanticized portrayals of mafiosi in movies must yield to an understanding of their inherent menace, marking the first crucial step in dismantling the formidable force that is the Cosa Nostra. As Mr. Buscetta concludes his testimony, the echoes of his revelations linger in the hallowed halls of the subcommittee. His candid account of the Mafia's evolution, from its noble origins to a corrupt entity driven by personal gain, leaves an indelible mark on the proceedings. The tale of initiation, blood oaths, and the transformation into an assassin underscores the darkness that lurks within the Cosa Nostra. Buscetta's decision to break the code of silence, omerta, and cooperate with authorities signals a profound shift in his loyalty and sets the stage for potential ramifications within the criminal underworld. As the subcommittee reflects on the riveting narrative, Buscetta's courageous decision to testify against the Mafia serves as a beacon of hope for justice. The story of a man who once considered membership an honor, now standing against the very organization he pledged allegiance to, adds a layer of complexity to the ongoing battle against organized crime. The aftermath of Buscetta's testimony remains uncertain, but one thing is clear. The shadows of the Mafia's past are being illuminated, exposing the intricacies of a criminal empire that has shaped lives and communities for decades. The testimony stands as a testament to the power of truth, even when it requires breaking the most sacred of codes.